Our first guest tonight, you know, from many huge movies and now a tiny TV show. The Miniature Wife premieres on Peacock April 9th. Please welcome Elizabeth Banks.
One thing straight.
Okay, go ahead.
That was not Jeffrey Epstein?
That was not Jeffrey Epstein, no. A lot of people think it was, but he's claiming that it is not, that he is not Jeffrey Epstein. Not Jeffrey Epstein.
Okay, we'll clear that up.
I'm glad you made it clear.
Thank you.
Because it seemed unclear to some people, like Guillermo, who was thinking about tequila on his stool. By the way, your entrance was very fast, and I appreciate it.
You know why? Because I'm wearing the tallest shoes of all time.
But
I was like, no, thank you.
But
so I have to shimmy my way out here.
Wouldn't that be an excuse to go slow instead of fast?
No, it's like I just want to get to the chair.
Okay, all right, good. Well, welcome to the chair. How are you doing?
Thank you, I'm doing great.
I heard you brought one of your kids here tonight.
I did. Well, you know, I'm not particularly cool to my kids, but you are, Jimmy.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
Will they tell my kids that I'm cool? Because they don't think I'm cool at all.
Well, then you know how I feel.
Yeah. Well, that's typical,
Yeah. They like Jimmy O. Yang, too, so they're excited.
Oh, great. Oh, it's a big Jimmy night for the kids.
Lots of Jimmy.
How old is your son?
15.
Is here?
He just turned 15 last week.
He did? Oh,
yeah.
That's not. Oh, is that
15's
hard?
a year from driving.
Because you have two teenage boys.
I have two teenagers now. I have a 13 and 15-year-old, yes, and I'm like their worst nightmare mom. I'm the mom that's like, so you know about sex, right? And you know about tampons, and you know you have to buy tampons if you get a girlfriend. And they're like, oh my God, that's too much.
What?
Like, yeah.
You have to buy tampons if you get a girlfriend?
You have never bought your beautiful wife?
I bought my wife tampons.
Right.
Never have I bought a girlfriend tampons.
Okay, your serious girlfriend. Well,
okay.
I'll change it to serious girlfriend. How about that?
You mean like you're supposed to show up with them, like on Valentine's Day?
Like flowers. Like a bouquet of flowers.
I just want to make sure I didn't miss a rule somewhere along the line.
No.
I did buy you know what? I have purchased tampons for my wife.
Yeah.
And I always buy the wrong ones. And in fact, I went to a supermarket in the middle of, almost the middle of the night, because she needed them.
Yeah.
And I got to this, you know, there's hundreds of choices.
Yeah, there's a lot of choices.
Which I was not told about prior to the visit to the supermarket.
Right.
And there was a woman in the aisle looking at them. And I had this moment where I'm like, am I gonna ask for help and seem like the weirdest creep imaginable?
Yeah. Did you?
And no, I did not. And guess what I did? Brought the wrong tampons.
Why didn't you buy every box of tampons?
It never occurred. I don't know. I just got the wrong ones.
One of these, one of these, one of these, one of these. Just to be safe, Jimmy, you gotta be safe.
And we were on vacation. It was a long drive. And so I went back and I gave her the thing and she said, this is not what I needed at all. And I washed my hands of the whole situation.
Okay, well, I'm glad my son's heard that you've gone.
Oh, your son left about 4 minutes ago. When you told America.
He ran.
Yeah, he got the hell out of here.
Down Hollywood Boulevard.
Did you give him the sex talk, or did your husband do that?
No, we did it pretty early on.
How early?
I think, well, we did, you know, I find you have to go in stages. So you got to introduce some things. Like, they don't want to know really about sex. They want to know where they're from. Like, where did I come from? And where are babies? And what are kittens? Mm-hmm. And I like to remind people that you can talk about where babies come from with animals, because mammals all do it the same.
Well, that's a good idea.
Yeah, and so when my son finally asked, but Mom, how does the penis get in the vagina from the back seat of the car? Well, my husband went in to get a coffee at the coffee shop, and we were on Cape Cod on vacation. And I was like, oh, wow, it's happening right now. Okay, this is it. And my little one sort of sat up like, I know what's going on. I didn't ask that question, but I'd like to know the answer, too. And I remember we were talking about going on a whale watch. So I started talking about whale penises. And those are like the biggest ones, I think.
That's what I hear.
and how whales, there's a screensaver on the TV of whales like just dancing in the water. And I was like, you know that screensaver? That's the whales. They're doing it. And I literally think I did do the actual, like this, like at one point. And they were like, right, okay. So I don't know.
That's
We
pretty
ended
good.
up talking about kittens and puppies, and that they all have penises.
Did it ruin the movie Free Willy for them? Were they able to watch that?
I think they felt really good about how Free Willy was.
Is it spring break for your kids right now or no?
It is spring break, yeah.
So do you make a plan for spring break? Because there's a lot of pressure now to make a plan for spring break. And I don't recall as a kid ever I don't remember a single spring break.
What was spring break?
It was, you were at home.
Yeah, that's what we did
That's
too.
it.
I mean, we went on a lot of car trips to visit family. That was my every vacation that I ever took as a kid was just get in the car and we're gonna go visit some family. And then when we got there and they said, and we would go like, what are we doing? We're not doing anything. They go, we're visiting. That's what we're doing. It's a visit. And I tell my kids that now. When we go to people's houses and we sit around and chit chat and eat food and drink, and they're like, why aren't we doing something? I'm like, this is what we're doing. This is the whole thing. We're visiting.
Right.
So yeah, I went on a lot of car trips to visit relatives.
You're doing it electively, though. I feel like our parents maybe were doing it to avoid paying for a motel.
1,000,000%. There was yeah, of course. That's the only reason. All vacations were just like, we'll pay for gas. And that's it. And everything else, hopefully, we'll go to Granddad's house and he'll take us out to dinner at Bonanza.
Yeah,
and
you're right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
right.
that was gonna be the
Bonanza,
vacation.
yeah.
And every once in a while we did have aunts who lived in Florida who had a pool.
Nice.
And we used to go and swim and come home just bright red, like beets red, completely unwatched in the 80s.
Yeah,
children.
like a whale out there humping its,
Wow,
you know.
I put it in your mind.
Yeah,
it's
I'm
in your
thinking
mind
about it now.
Yeah,
because I am thinking about the kind of specifics, the mechanics of it. And it makes sense that the whale would have to be very well endowed because otherwise, how do you keep that going?
Well, because there's no gravity holding anything in place. They're just floating around,
Right. And
I agree.
They need some connection
Well,
there.
but also
like
the
if it was
woman
like a
has
Lego.
to be very accepting, right? It's really on her.
Well, I've heard that female whales, which are called fee whales, did you know that? Yes, that's the scientific term for them. Are very cool, like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're super cool.
They're cool chicks. Yeah.
Whales. Yeah, I have to tell, my wife has told me that I am going to be telling our 8-year-old son.
Okay, Billy, yeah. But you have adult children you have grandkids,
I'm
don't
glad you
you
mentioned that. I have a granddaughter, yes.
Right, so you really must have had to say where your grandchild came from.
No, he never even, the hospital is where the grandchild came from. But I have a new thing I'm going to try to start. I'm so glad you mentioned my older son because I explained this to my older son, Kevin.
Yeah.
And now I feel that it should be his responsibility. So whoever you have to, in your life, tell one person how babies were made. And then that person, whoever you choose, that person has to tell a selected person.
I'm interested in that, passing on this knowledge.
Yeah.
This human, by the way, most basic human knowledge
That's
that we
right,
all need to survive.
I don't know.
The
To me,
human race.
Yeah, eating and drinking are a little more basic, but I think, no. Oh, I'm glad you support this, and I'm going to mention that it is approved by you,
By me. It's
Elizabeth
approved plan.
Banks. When we come back, we're going to see a clip from your new show, which is called The Miniature Wife. Elizabeth Banks is here. We'll be right back.
Merry Christmas, Lindy.
Les, do I look merry or hungry?
Well, it's kind of hard to tell from this distance.
I'm not. Make me big again now.
Heard that loud and clear. The thing is...
Tell me you can make me big again, Les.
I can, and I will. The thing is that I think it's just gonna take a day, or two, tops. But you'll be fine. Everything's gonna be okay. You're healthy. I checked your vitals.
Wait, I could die? Tiny?
And Elizabeth Banks in The Miniature Wife, which you can see on April 9th. All the episodes come out on Peacock.
That's right.
Man, husbands are always shrinking their wives, aren't they?
I did love that this was a study of a relationship, and it is a bit about how we minimize each other's problems in that relationship. This is a sort of absurdist lens on that notion of feeling small, with someone that you love. This couple's been married a really long time. He's a crazy scientist. he accidentally shrinks me, and it's sort of like, what's gonna happen then? And he can't make me big right away.
Did he intentionally shrink the turkey too, so you would have something to eat?
He shrinks all of those things so in an effort to appease me when I'm just like, I just want this to be over immediately, and he's like, I can't.
Seems so wasteful to spend like whatever, $80, $100 on a turkey and then shrink it down to a tiny size.
But if your wife was tiny and yelling at you, you would do whatever you can.
I'd just give her a little piece of the giant one, but it looked better that way. But
some of that too.
Some of the things you had are actual giant props, right?
Yeah. Well, so what was so wild is that's all. A lot of what I did was on a green screen, but yeah.
Oh my
that's
goodness.
Me.
Well, this is very meaningful because
the Fiji water bottle.
This guy is from Fiji.
That's right.
And
Fiji.
Little did he know it would be represented in a giant bottle.
There it is. So some of the props that they made, because otherwise I was on this green screen having to imagine so much of the world around me. So these incredible artisans built me life-size, huge props. That's me. At one point, my character jumps onto a toilet plunger because it's a classy show.
You know,
and
what happened to that prop?
That's a 20-foot tall.
Can you send that to the White House? I would love to have that. I would like to mail that to the White House. You put it right on top, right where that dome happens, you know?
And just the boop boop, it all out.
What else do we have?
That would drain the swamp.
Look at that. That's fun.
That's the iPhone charger right there that I have to climb up and get. So it was really fun. As you can see, though, everything else was green. So I'm having to imagine, you know, you're walking around the salt and pepper shaker. I'm like, okay, sure, guys. You know, I was like the least mentally prepared I've ever been for a job was doing this job. I just didn't quite understand how vulnerable I was going to feel standing on a stage just surrounded by green, having to imagine everything while, like, Joe was walking to craft service, like, right there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
While they're like, and the cat is coming. And I'm like, okay, you know what, guys? Can we just maybe not all go to craft service while I'm literally trying to imagine the entire world that I'm living in inside my brain?
Were you nervous inside that water bottle?
No, the back, I could get out the back.
Oh, you can get out the back.
I could get out the back.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So it wasn't all that.
It wasn't too terrifying.
And can we put that phone charger up again? Because I'm concerned about the fact that that is a lightning cable you have there. And we now switched to USB-C. It seems like your husband, if he's this technical genius.
Why do I have an old phone? I know.
Yeah, why does he have an iPhone 12? You know?
It's a good note, Jimmy. I don't know where you were in production.
Yeah, no, I was here sitting at the desk, yeah.
No.
Well, it's great to see you. Please give my best to your son, who thinks I'm cool. And the show is called The Miniature Wife. All the episodes premiere April 9th on Peacock. Elizabeth Banks, everybody. We'll be right back with Jimmy